Okay, well, welcome back to the podcast. This is a podcast with no name. We are By the Fire. I'm joined by a few friends. My name's Taylor, by the way. T-Slay, yes. I'm joined by Caleb Cranton and his brother, Caden Cranton. And Emily's over there, hey.
What up, Emmy?
But anyways, today we're going to talk about anything that we really want to. Our mind is free of things today.
Campfire talks.
Campfire talks it is. So let's just go ahead and get into it and start this thing off with a question of Donald Trump.
Trump?
What do you think about his presidential status?
As of now?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't think he's done too much crazy stuff so far, you know what I mean? People hyped him up like he's just going to be this terrible president. I don't think it's like he's doing that. I think the media probably portrays him more of like a devil than he actually is, you know?
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be like that.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
I have thoughts. Some are bad, some are good. I think for some reason, I feel like he's going to make it to where there's going to be no more terms as a president. He's
really?
just going to be a president forever.
That's a crazy thought. What do you think about that, Emily? You think that's crazy?
There's no way.
Yeah, I know. I don't think that's possible. But, there were terms for 16 years at one time.
Didn't somebody have 3 terms, FDR?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I can do it as well.
There's only because...
But that was because of the war.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only reason he was allowed to do that, because we were in such turmoil that he had to,
Country trusted him.
Yeah, they trusted him. He was doing well, you know.
Yeah. But, like, social America with Donald Trump, how do you think they're taking it? Like, do you think the country's, like, just going to one day just say, okay, we're just going to go ahead and back this guy up? And, like, is there going to be any more riots and shit?
I don't know, man. I feel like the mass media, especially the liberal media, likes to portray him, like I said, as this awful person all the time. I don't know why. It's just because it doesn't really. What they want to do is just go against everything that's against their agenda. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That just seems like what they want to do. Like, if it doesn't make them happy, like it affects their emotions in a negative way, because they don't feel something,
Yeah.
They seem to be like about that rather than like actually using logic. It's like, oh, I feel like this, and that's what America's
get
turning
caught
to.
in their feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this. I don't know. It just blows my mind. I don't.
Okay, well,
I'm just not about it.
I feel you.
Like, what do they call it? Relativism. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Relativism. People just, everything's relative, there's no sense of right and wrong. It's what I want, what I feel, what I want to do. And that's what, a lot of America's becoming.
Yeah, now what do you think the status of the world is at this point?
The
in
status
2017,
of it?
yeah, like, are we moving forward? Are we stepping back? Are we in a good position?
What are you thinking?
I think we're in a terrible position. Well, in what area?
Not terrible.
Are we
Like
talking
the
about
whole world.
financially,
Fiscally, yeah.
religiously?
Just like plain straight aspect. Like,
But they're
is the world, like, I'm saying, like, religiously,
Is it moving forward, or is it
Yeah.
going further back?
Yeah.
I think it's returning back to like a culture that it was before, probably the floods of Noah. Where everybody becomes lovers of themselves.
That
rather
popping
than-
is the fire.
Yeah, no, it's popping, dude. We got it popping on this cast.
We got it popping on this podcast.
Hey, but yeah, that's what I feel like, dude. I feel like it's returning back to the days of Noah, where everybody they love themselves rather than loving God, or loving, they turn their backs on the Creator and worship the creation. That's what it seems like.
So, would you agree with the statement of we're becoming a materialistic world?
Oh, we've been a materialistic world, boy. We're still here. It's still going. It's just getting worse and worse. Oh, man, it's all bad.
I understand. Let's see.
What you think?
I think there's a lot of war going on.
Yeah, I feel like social media has a lot to do with it, because everybody just takes pictures of themselves, and they're so worried about what they look like and what you know, them as a person, you know, they're so worried, self-absorbed nowadays, you know, about what they're doing rather than what everybody else is doing. And it creates, you know, a sense of discommunity a lot of the times because, you know, they're
When you
loving
say
themselves.
discommunity, what do you mean?
Like, people just like, you know, like they don't want to worry about others. They want to only worry about themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that kind of sense. Because of what a lot of social media does is like worship yourself, make yourself famous, do this with that. You know, to get everybody to love you and illuminate yourself, actually glorify yourself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You become self-righteous that way, though.
Yeah, one word that stuck out to me right there is illuminate.
Illuminate?
Yeah. Oh, dude, that log is falling.
Yeah, I know that, right?
Let's transfer this to the Illuminati.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, since you said illuminate. Do you believe in this illumination, like self-illumination, like self-creation, and I don't know how to say this, but
Just think about it and phrase it. Like, what do you think?
like everybody being a god.
Like everybody wants to be a god. I mean, like, that's the first lie. That,
Like we are all one.
yeah, I mean, according to the Bible, essentially that's the first lie. And first deception of all humanity was that, you know, the snake in the Garden of Eden, who we know from reading the rest of the Bible, you can't just pick and choose, was Lucifer, the dragon, you know, the snake, the tormentor, you know, the deceiver, the accuser, whatever you want to call him, Oslatan or whatever.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff. But he tricked Eve and lied, and he said, if you eat of this tree, you will become like God. You yourself can become a god. And ever since then, that was the first lie that was ever told. And that's what humanity has tried to do ever since the beginning of creation. And that's, you know, that leads you to a lot of things.
Yeah.
A lot of ways to think about that, because that has shaped humanity forever. Because we were taught that, and we were removed from the Garden of Eden. We were removed from God's presence. We weren't allowed to be in God's presence because God is perfect, and He can't be around sin. He can't do it. So, and then the rest of the Bible leads you on, you know, God. We needed a way to communicate with God, so only God could provide one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, you could talk about that kind of stuff, but I essentially, you know, think that about how we are becoming like gods in our own, you know, like how we think that we are gods, you know, now that pop culture has had that idea that they can become gods. That's what I mean. It stems and originates from that original lie.
Yeah. So
I think.
taking it all the way back to the beginning of the Bible.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's where it comes from. I mean, like, that's why we're here. And culture was like this before. It ended up, it was worse than this, I think, right now, what it is right now. You know, and that's why the world was destroyed in the first place. Because the world was so corrupt that they were doing genetic stuff where they were mixing animals and mixing people, hybrid beings, and, you know, they had a very high knowledge of genetics, which we're just now understanding, where you can, you know, you can essentially clone stuff, and you can mix different species of kinds of animals that don't really go together. They call them chimera in ancient cultures. What they are, they're hybrid animals.
That's an IPA, actually. Chimera?
A chimera, really?
Yeah.
That's in Greek. That means like a hybrid. You know, like a hybrid creature.
Yeah, it's actually
creatures.
IPA.
That's crazy though.
But
yeah, I want to. I feel it.
where was that?
What you think, Caden? You just chilling?
You're just chilling over there, not saying anything.
Yo, he's tending to the fire. He's the fire tender.
Bartender?
Yeah. He's actually a firebender in real life, though.
So,
Don't tell anyone.
do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
I don't personally believe in aliens. I don't think they're aliens. I think they're, you know, what we think of aliens. Yes, there is something out there, but what we think of aliens and everybody else thinks of aliens aren't actually these alien beings from other creatures or other planets. I think they're beings that have been here from the beginning of time, personally, I think it brings us back to that same story in the beginning of Genesis. You know, when there was the sons of God, B'nai Ha-Elohim, as they call them in ancient Hebrew, were kicked out of heaven, and essentially on earth. And those beings are the same beings that have been here. They're different than humans. They're not the same. They're just not humans. They're not created in the image of God. These beings, and I think those beings are the same beings we call aliens, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think they're the same exact beings.
UFOs.
About UFOs, I've seen them.
Yeah.
I've seen tons of them, actually, man. It's crazy. I saw one the other day when I was at the beach, man. I was looking up at the moon, and there's this little thing that flew by so fast. And I live in New Brunswick right now. That's where I go to school. But I see planes everywhere, all the time. So I can tell if it's a plane or it's a jet or something. And I'm saying this thing is moving at 2,000 plus miles an hour instantly. And it'll disappear. It'll move real fast and it'll disappear. And then it'll manifest itself again in a different spot. And then it'll do the same thing. It's some kind of flying craft. But, ancient cultures had knowledge of these kind of flying crafts too. They called them Vimanas and stuff in India. Mm-hmm. And
I wanted to touch on ancient cultures also.
Yeah, I mean, most of this roots back to ancient culture. I think if you study ancient culture, which nobody does anymore, I don't know why, I know why, is because they don't really, publicly teach a lot about it in public schools. It's, really their agenda. They want to teach you anything that is mostly American history, and then above, they don't really teach you ancient culture that much. They just, kind of run over it really quickly.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. What do you think about that?
Do you think, is it beneficial to watch Ancient Aliens?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's beneficial to watch anything, whether it be a someone who's advocate for being a Christian and you're learning Christian culture, or someone who's advocate for being an atheist. Both of them are valid. I think you just have to eat the meat and spit out the bones for everything,
Yeah. I agree with that.
I mean, you know what I mean? There's always some good in everything. You just gotta... I think your worldview, though, affects that a lot, like how you filter things. Because you have to... It's like your worldview is like glasses you put on, and then you can filter through that, like how you can see the world or understand the world. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But...
Let's just go ahead and get to the big subject I want to talk about. Is the world flat?
Is the world flat, dude?
Yes, this is what I want to talk about.
Dude, I think the world's flat, honestly.
All right, explain the whole theory.
I mean,
people.
I'm not the, world's most well-informed person on this. I watch tons of videos, and I can see personally the reason I believe this is because I observe it with my own eyes, and I think that's what science is. Something you can observe and test with your own eyes, not believing theories that people just pump at you that you can't possibly test. No, something that you can observe and test. That's the definition of science if you look it up in the dictionary. So when they call stuff science that you can't observe and test, that's not science. That's science fiction. That's what that is. It's fake science.
Just because you can
Speak up, huh?
Speak up.
Woo!
If you're going to talk, you got to say something.
Sorry, guys, the logs just fell in the pit. What was that?
You got to say it. Go ahead.
Said if it's science, science.
No,
I don't
we
have
gotta
this.
argue.
We're not arguing.
Just because you personally can't observe that it's not, that it is or isn't true does not make it
true
or not make it science.
Yeah.
Just because
I
you
agree.
personally don't have the
I'm getting the blood
materials to
force of
observe it.
smoke
I
right now.
agree. I agree with you. I'm just saying
Smoke
I
signals.
can't test that, so I'm not going to believe it until I can test it.
That's a better statement.
Yeah, I'm not going to believe it until I test it. And some stuff you can't test. Like, there's some theories I'm saying that essentially you can't test, even though they call it science. It's impossible to test it. And that is science fiction, because that's just a belief. You're believing in something that you've never seen or witnessed.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
blind faith, really.
So
it's
back
not science.
back to the flat Earth. Explain it. Like, we live on a flat plane, circular plane.
Yeah, I think it's like a terrarium almost. It's like
It's like a snow globe.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's like a snow globe, man. I've flown on planes, and you guys that fly on planes, check
I've
it out.
never flown on a
Yeah,
plane.
check it out. I mean, you look and you see for miles and miles. It's just flat as can be. Actually, and also if you go to If you go to the beach and watch the horizon, and say you're watching like the sunset, and you see the sun go over the horizon, watch it, and you think it's gone, and then pull out. There's certain equipment you can get to where you can see further, like, past like whatever I don't know the exact distance of the human eye that it can see. Do you know, Emily? It's all good if you don't. But anyway, there's a limit to where the human eye can see like a distance, and if you can enhance that, there's recorders and camcorders and stuff and cameras or whatever that can enhance that kind of thing. And if you watch it, you think the sun has set over the horizon, just like they say it's a globe Earth. But if you pull out binoculars and see it, you can see that it's actually just gone farther away past the human eye where they can't see it. There's a plane that it's just a limit of the human eye. We can't see that far. But you can observe it if you have, the proper equipment to see that far. It's just like a boat. You stand. The Navy do this all the time. Like, oh, there's a zone where you can't see the boat anymore because apparently it has gone over the curvature of the Earth, the horizon or whatever. And like I said, if you watch the boat go over, man, you think it's gone, and then you pull out these, technological devices that you can use that enables the human to see further, and you can still see it, man. And you can see it for a long, long time until that equipment is not able to see that far.
Yeah.
Like if you were essentially sitting on the beach with the Hubble telescope, that can see so far or whatever. I don't know the exact distance, like I said, but I mean, y'all can look this stuff up. You would be able to see the sun the whole time. But we're not, the average man's doesn't have access to that kind of technology all the time. But
Yeah.
if you can get your hands on a camcorder that's like, over $500, I think, but it allows you to see far. And you can go on YouTube and watch all these people that do have these cameras and they video it.
Yeah.
But, like, that just proves, like, because the sun will never go, or the boat will never go over the horizon. It'll just keep going farther and farther and farther. And eventually, if you watch the sun, it'll come back around. Like, what it does is, the sun, there's a flat disk, and the sun's inside this terrarium. It's actually small. It's almost the same size as the moon. It's a little bit bigger. But the moon and the sun, they move in a spiral, like circular motion around, the inside of the Earth, and they spiral out, and they come into the the middle, and then they'll come out.
Yeah.
All around the edges of it. And hey, if you even check, look, if you want a picture or a map of the flat Earth, just go check out the United Nations flag, because it's not a globe, it's a flat Earth. And you know what the United Nations job is? I mean, they pretty much found NASA. They're in control of NASA. They're in control of like any kind of global exploration, and they deal with those kind of things. So if you go check out, like, they won't let you go to Antarctica, because Antarctica isn't real. Antarctica is like this whole edge of the globe, really. It's like a 100-foot wall, And if you check it out. Look, Admiral Byrd, who was a Navy captain, he took, a whole fleet down there, and they went and observed it, and he's like telling you all this stuff. Like, oh, we found, He's the same person that says there was a hollow Earth, and he was a Navy captain. He went up there and explored it. I mean, like, he took a plane and flew into it and talks about all this stuff. But he's the same guy who says that, there's all these resources out in Antarctica that, he went out to the edge of it, and he says that he saw the end of the terrarium where the Earth ends, the edge of the Earth.
What was there?
He says it's like this terrarium like thing that goes.
Like it's just.
Like it's like essentially if you look at a snow globe, and at the end of it where it hits the glass where it goes up, he got to that thing. The Bible calls it a firmament.
So how do people fly from California to like Japan or Australia? If it's flat, it would take 2 times as long as if it wasn't a globe.
I don't know too much about. There's this guy that talks about it. I can't explain it exactly. I can find the video on YouTube. And, you can see. I mean, these people try to explain it. I don't think it's that big of a deal though. They can just cut across, because if the Earth is flat, look, let me show you a map. A map. I mean, I'm just saying, if we just got to figure this out about the map situation, but
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the flat Earth map, it just seems like it's not that far. It actually seems shorter than, what they say the average time travel is.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not super big expert on it. I say, you know, I'm kind of convinced about it. You know, I like to watch tons of stuff and read tons of stuff about it all the time whenever I can. But it's just something to think about, you know. Check it out. I mean, just see what you observe. Don't believe anything I say. Go check it out for yourself. And like I was talking about the plane and like being on the beach and stuff, that's just ways I observe it, you know, and I can check that.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's my thoughts on it. I mean, what do you think about it? You think it's crazy? Like, you think maybe it's possible? You tell me what's your experience.
I think it's possible. I don't know if I've been brainwashed to think that it's round.
I mean, we have globes.
Spherical.
We've had globes in our classrooms ever since we were kids. We weren't told anything different. We were told we had to believe that. But if you look at every NASA image, you know, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just now that you've heard it, at least think about it. You know, if you're absolutely can't, you can't believe it, that's cool. You know, but I'm just saying what I've seen with my eyes and what I can think. You know, using logic. I'm not trying to just believe what someone says. You know.
Yeah.
I try to believe the other one, you know, and sometimes I flip back and forth, actually, you know, but I think it's viable, especially because the flat Earth, dude,
Logs falling.
Yeah, it's bumping out here, dude. But, like the flat Earth theory, for all of human history, of recorded human history that we have, every culture, nature culture, thought the Earth was flat. And
Well,
the
what if
cosmos
it was because we didn't have the technology to know that it was round?
But I think they did have the technology. I mean, you know what I mean? If you check the ancient Egyptians, dude, they have flying devices. The ancient Indian they have flying devices.
The world is like...
I mean, according to the Bible, dude, they say there's nothing new under the sun.
In the middle is North Pole.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It spreads out.
Yeah.
And then...
At the edge of it...
But it's all in a circular...
Mm-hmm.
And then the edge of it is Antarctica.
Yeah, but actually what it is it's a dome. We have, like, say, like a snow globe positioned on top of, like, a square.
So we're in a square instead of a...
So there's a square... No, there's a square that's, like, the very edge of the Earth. But inside that square is a dome. And the land that's inside it. There's, like, 4 corners of the Earth, you know, that are held up by pillars. And there's supposed to be water covered out and all that from it. I mean, like... You know, it sounds crazy, but if you have to look at the evidence for yourself. You can't just like listen to what I'm saying, you know.
Yeah.
But see, this is the reason I'm saying this is because people don't even look at the evidence for the other option, which is the globe. They just believe what everyone says.
Yeah.
But that's just because they've been taught that their whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they never question it, only because it's been what's in their public classrooms and everything, you know, for their whole life. It's essentially what Nazi Germany did, you know. They brainwashed people. Like Hitler said, "Let me control the books and I'll control the state." You know, the textbooks and I'll control the state. You know what he did? He changed all the textbooks to believe, you know, they were evolution and believe that the Jews and the black people were the lowest form of humans still left, and they had to eradicate them. And after 20 years of just changing the textbooks to believe this, he had almost all of Germany just blindly believing this.
Yep, the Nazi children.
Yep.
You wanna...
The Third Reich, you know.
Okay, I don't know what we were just talking about, but we're talking to Caden about YouTube.
The big tips and trades of the YouTubers. What were you talking about? You said you watch all of it, so like, what do you know?
I mean, you know, I've just been watching it for so long. I just kind of pick up on everything.
But what is it about? Like, you know, like what do they talk about mostly?
Well, you know, like the big YouTubers. I don't know. They just it's like kind of random.
Just
like,
random topics.
Well, not really. There's like different YouTubers for each subject, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like some will do video games, some will just do like, you know, podcasts like this.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like...
What do you learn from most of them, like a lot of the time? Is it just like ways to record stuff, or is it like...
Yeah, kind of like you'll listen and they'll do videos with other people.
Yeah.
And like they'll like talk about like how they got there and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And
how they got their start and like...
Yeah, how they got all these subscribers and stuff. And
because we trying to get a lot of subscribers, right? You know. So what's the big tips? Like, you got any tips we can use? Like, what you got?
I mean,
like, what do they say? Like, helps them like...
I mean,
know,
like
what's interesting to the public that helps them get...
It's what's like going on, what's trending, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of how some YouTubers base their videos off, is the media.
Oh, I see.
Mhm.
So that's like, if they have topics like that, it
Then
seems
people
to
will
like,
watch. Yeah.
Like
chase
like
off.
people like Philip DeFranco. He talks about pop culture subjects and like news subjects.
People
Him
love that stuff.
like there's this big YouTube scandal that just recently happened with PewDiePie.
Yeah.
Who's that?
He's
He's
a
the
gamer.
biggest YouTuber.
Really?
Yeah, he has like 50 million subscribers.
That's crazy.
He makes bank, and he did some anti-Semitic things that
Really?
he didn't intentionally mean to be anti-Semitic,
Yeah.
but people
You know
took
what
it the
that
wrong.
means, Cade? Anti-Semitic? Like anti-Jew.
Making fun of Jews and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's what he does though. I don't.
No, he doesn't really do that.
No.
But he makes fun of people. Yes.
Yeah, like, yeah.
But anti-Semitic is bad.
Yeah.
Okay. And like he didn't like the thing was these people were gonna do a joke and he didn't think they were gonna do it, but they actually did it, and now he's getting a bunch of backlash for it.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting, though. It's crazy.
He didn't mean for it to happen that way. Like he didn't
Yeah.
think it was gonna happen. So now he's just like, I'm sorry, kind of. But that was a big controversy on YouTube last like couple months. And recently, Shay Carl. I don't know if you heard of the Shay Tards.
Yeah.
I used to watch them almost every day. He got caught talking to a cam girl.
Uh-oh.
And I don't know if you know what a cam girl is. It's like the girls you message on Facebook.
Yeah.
Not Facebook, but like on the internet, you know what I'm saying? And they do stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And he's in rehab now for drinking because he always had a problem with alcoholism. And
Really?
he just recently relapsed, and now he's in rehab for that.
Man.
And he's shut down his Twitter. Shay Tards are going on a hiatus for a year, probably more.
Oh, man. He's disappearing. He's going out in the woods, boy. Nah, I don't know.
That's the thing, that they live out in the woods. They live in Utah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have like he was co-founder of Maker Studios, which sold to Disney for $550 million. So yeah, he's sitting pretty nice, and they live on a ranch in Utah, just chilling.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up. That's the dream, dude.
Snow's like crazy up there, dude. Like they had a drift like as tall as that thing, tall as that shed. But I think the thing with YouTubers is like you gotta keep it coming, and
Yeah,
you gotta
really.
keep it up to date with all the pop culture things. And
It's because it's mostly, I feel like the younger cultures are always the ones looking at that stuff. And Caden can attest for this because he's a little younger, that, that appeals to them more just because they grew up with it. Like, we didn't grow up with that stuff, Like, that's been around since, they were born, for real. YouTube didn't come around until I was in 6th grade. Like,
Yeah.
there was no such thing as YouTube.
Yeah.
And Shay Carl and the Shay Tards are like honestly the first vloggers of YouTube.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen their movie Vlogumentary. It's a documentary about YouTubers.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard of it. Yeah.
I have YouTube Red, so I've seen it. Like YouTube Red is no ads.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah,
Dude, I remember
you can close
back
the
when
app.
YouTube had no ads.
Yeah, you can
You remember
close.
that, Caden?
Yeah.
You
Had
can
no
close the
ads.
you can close the app
I'm too
to where
young, boy.
you can listen to music and stuff with YouTube Red. If you don't have YouTube Red, I really do recommend getting it.
I miss it, dude. Like, because YouTube Red wasn't a thing when they first started, boy. I was watching everything on YouTube. No ads. It was the best thing that had ever come out. Now they,
Yeah.
hey, but they making money with it, so
That's how we're doing it now.
yeah. So
What's it called? The YouTubers. How I was talking about earlier. How they just kind of go with the media.
yeah,
Well, with their followers and stuff. If some YouTubers do this, not all of them, they'll do a game, and if their followers don't like it, they'll stop doing it completely.
oh yeah.
But
They'll make games of it.
yeah,
I see.
and they'll stop doing it, and then but some are just like they're kind of smaller channels. They'll just do it just because everybody not everybody likes it, but
Are you talking about like a challenge of some sort, like
well, it's kind of the gaming channels mostly.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Rhett and Link or Good Mythical Morning?
Yeah, Good Mythical Morning. I love that.
I used to watch them. I don't really watch them anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of wore out
They're
on me a
getting
little
huge.
bit. But those guys, those guys, Matt Santoro,
Mhm.
Casey Neistat,
Yeah.
Shay
Dude,
Carl
man, he's getting big YouTuber.
are my favorite YouTubers.
Mhm.
They've been a big inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, Casey Neistat, man.
I just want to meet that guy.
I know.
That dude's awesome.
Man, y'all know way more than I do. I swear, the only thing I watch on YouTube is like ancient history and like classical music, or I'm always.
It's all about the YouTube community.
Yeah, I don't know much about it, like I said, but I mean, I put videos up on YouTube, but I'm pretty much playing brass instruments the whole time. Check it out.
Yeah.
Caleb Cranton.
Chilling.
I feel you.
Holla. But hey, I check out T-Slave though. That No Name Network. In cubed.
Yeah. And cubed. It's a good way to think about it.
That's what I'm saying, boy. But I don't know. This fire's lit though.
It is lit. I'm trying to get lit.
Get lit, but never quit.
Golly, that whole pop.
Alright, we about to sign off?
Yeah, we're about to sign off. Thanks for everybody for listening. It's been a quick 30-minute podcast type deal.
Just a little hang, by the fire.
Hopefully we blew your mind a little bit. Maybe
Some
not.
stuff. We'll talk about it more, but I mean, like, it gets you thinking, Look for yourself. I feel like
Yeah,
that's
this is
the
going to
key.
be part 1 with Caleb Cranton.
Yeah, I feel like that's the key, I say all this stuff, but, like, don't think I'm crazy, but I've been thinking about this stuff for, over 8 years that I've built to these theories that I come to, I mean, you got to start somewhere. In my opinion, you find out what your worldview is and get the right worldview,
Yeah.
But, hey, we signing out. We had fun. Campfire, No Name Network on this, but...
Yeah. I'm Taylor Slay. This is Caleb Cranton and Caden Cranton.
Hey, we got Emily in the back.
And Emily in the
Yeah.
back.
All right.
Signing off.
Y'all have a good night.
Peace.
Peace.